Well, we're going to do something that I've never painted before. Actually, let me start by misting my paint. You can just see my mister bottle there. And I'm also going to mist my canvas. Just to help it not dry out quite as quickly. It's acrylic paint. I've got an air conditioner. So yeah, it does want to tend to dry out. Here you can see I'm going to take some titanium white, Prussian blue. That's kind of pretty. I want some red. That's a good start. Obviously, by the thumbnail, you know exactly what we're going to do, but I'm not sure right now exactly how it's going to turn out, but it should be interesting. Never done this subject before. So we'll see. Kind of like a goodbye to summer, right? Oh, you know, I got to be pretty quick here. I'm going to probably do the water separately. If this was an oil painting, I'd probably want to do the water right now, but we're going to do it separately because I want to get my blending in. There we go. Blending my colors together. The good news is if this does tend to dry out, I'm hoping it doesn't really dry out too much, but if it does dry out, I can come back and dry brush glaze over it. But oh, it would be faster and easier. Just go ahead and get it finished while it's wet. Perhaps I can mist the canvas a little bit and the palette. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep going pretty quick when it comes to this sort of thing. Using large brushes and overlapping strokes definitely helps to blend it quickly. That's kind of the secret here. And having a good soft creamy paint, it's kind of thinning it down with that water. Just a little bit helps. So now what we're gonna do is just underpaint the water. You can see I've got this color here on the palette, just a light, kind of a light blue. And I've got the palette misted with some water. And my hope is to kind of create these streaky effects here with relatively little effort. There we go. It'll work. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to go crazy. I got my mister bottle in one hand. It's kind of what's nice about having a hand free there for, you know, just holding a paper towel in your hand or a mister bottle. Kind of nice. I know most people paint with their palettes flat on the table, but I don't. Well, I guess I do now. I'm liking it. Definitely taking some getting used to. There's a little more water. Set that down. And I'm going to now place in my, well, I need more water. There we go. I'm just going to now brush in my darks. This needs to be fairly dark as a night scene, so I want it to be shadowy enough that it's condensing. I can always highlight this water. You know, I'd rather have it nice and dark. And then just roughly matching the color that you see there in the sky. Put a little soft light right there in the middle. All right, so I'm going to attempt here to bring in, see this is a quick line, which is my mountain, my background mountain, and I'm attempting to put in a little bit of color here. I tried to put that in here and realized I kind of want my horizon a little higher. There's not enough room for the elements down here, which of course you've already seen on the thumbnail, the different, the campsite and whatnot, that I think will be really kind of fun. I don't have enough room for it, so I'm making more room. Making more room. There you go. These are going to be trees silhouetted against this. Well, this isn't going to be trees, but you know what I mean. There will be trees silhouetted against it. I'm going to change brushes. And just so you know, there is just a slight element of risk to this. If this isn't good and dry, if you put too much water on, a couple ways you can mess this up, but you can actually mess this up. To the point where you start to cut through the paint, you'll get the raw canvas underneath. Don't want that. I'm just letting you know that is a possibility and something you need to be aware of. So be careful. There we go. I think it's okay. We've got a lot of stars and whatnot. What if we did just the slightest feeling of a galaxy back here? Just like maybe I'll do concentrated stars right here or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just a little light spot in the sky. Can we do that? Could we do that? Maybe. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. Or maybe they're little clouds. I don't know what it necessarily is. I just want to brighten that up a little. And I think it'll look good if we put a bunch of stars in that little area there, perhaps. I'm just going to lightly mist the sky area. I'm not sure that's necessary, but I'm going to do it anyways. Keep my paint wet. And I'm going to take just a little bit of my white here and some of our leftover red just to warm it up. I don't want it totally pure white, because of course real artists don't use pure white. At least that's what they tell me. I don't know. All right, isn't it funny how people like to tell you things? All right, let me just dot in a few stars. Now, could I just flick with a paintbrush and get thousands? Probably. Let me just do a few larger ones, and I'll probably get tired of that and want to do it the other way. So we'll see how that goes too. You never know when you're messing around with things that you don't do very often, which I'm doing. Something I don't do very often. For me, it shouldn't be too big of a deal to not get symmetry, but if you're inclined to do symmetry, then yeah, you may want to close your eyes while you paint this. You know, just shut your eyes and paint. It should be okay. Anything that gets to be a little distracting, just do like I did right there and dabble it away. There we go. Just try to soften them. I don't think I want them too sharp, too hard. Just soft. Are there no stars at the horizon? I think there might be no stars at the horizon. Artistically, I'm just going to kind of do littler stars at the horizon. I'm not totally sure. This might not be scientifically correct. I'm sorry if it's not. You can make yours scientifically correct if you like. The idea for the art is going to be basically the same. I think I'm going to try to put in a couple of stars just by flicking the paint. I'm going to maybe take and darken the color with a little blue so it's not quite as bright, you know, because it is going to be kind of more of a pinpoint and I don't want it too bright. Let me water it down some. I think that's important. Then let me just do a little test. I'll do it on a palette so you can see. Oh yeah, we'll get some stars. Okay, so now let's, kind of don't know, not too many down here, maybe. There we go, just thousands of little stars. Now, what's great about this, oh, I should have done this a few minutes ago. I didn't spend that long. What's great about this, and you know what, I do need the big ones. Yeah, what's great about this is it just adds all those little details without cluttering it. You know what, they're sparse and it looks like you did a lot, but you didn't. And I like it. How about over here? What's nice about getting all this done now is because I'm going to put my trees and stuff over this. Pretty much to me, the sky needs to be more or less finished, wrapped up before I do a whole lot more. Ooh, that looks good. I'm just trying to go with, maybe even something over here. Obviously, some of this will be covered. If there's ever one you don't like that one right there, I'm guessing I can just sort of blob it away, rub it away. It's a little bit distracting, so here's what I'll do. It's actually good for you to see this. If you get one that's distracting, you can take something like a shop towel and a little moist water, moisten it just enough to be able to clean it. Oh, you almost messed up the paint there. That could be a problem. I may have to run a tree up there, which is okay. Stuff like that happens. Acrylics, when it comes to skies, I hate to say it, are a little bit less forgiving. That's just the way it is. For everything else, to me, they're in a lot of ways easier to fix because they dry, but not when it comes to the sky. The sky is hard in acrylic. It's the only thing that I would say, oh, that's not usually easy. Sorry, just the way it is. You know, acrylic skies are a little bit more, they're less forgiving than oil skies. Now I'm going to take a kind of a soft color that's similar to the sky. I'm not totally sure what I want here, but let's just go with something similar to, that might be okay. I think it needs to be darker. It's kind of hard to know what you want when you don't know what you want when it comes to the color, you know? It's not, I guess I wasn't really sure. I know it's not that. Okay, it's not that either. Oh, yes. I'm going to add a little burnt umber to the mix. I need to squirt out some more white as well. So I added a little burnt umber, a little more blue. I'm not totally sure what I want again. Okay, that's something. That's maybe a little closer to what might work. Yeah. That'll probably work. Oh, look, I kind of feather it into the color. Kind of an accidental underpainting here. I'm going to work with it. Why not? Now, perhaps I want that a little darker. My paint's drying on the palette. I keep squirting it with water, but it keeps drying. What are you going to do? That's probably a little too dark. Let's go just a little bit lighter. There we go. There, that's it. And of course, acrylics do dry out one shade darker. Now, if you've got high quality acrylic paints, and the ones I'm using are high quality, and at least I like them. But if you have high quality paint, the color will remain the same. You know, the color will be exactly the same. The difference will be it'll dry darker in value. So it'll be like 2 shades darker, at least 2 shades darker. I'm going to begin to work on some of my evergreen trees, and just starting with some of these lighter ones and working into the dark ones, overlapping to create quite a bit of depth, really. And how many trees and how much depth you want to create is kind of up to you. Painting like this, honestly, you could simplify it even further if you wanted to. I think I'm going to kind of split the difference. Not real in depth, but maybe not as basic as I could go with some of these trees. You know, I'll put a little detail in them. Won't be much. It really won't be much. We'll see just a little bit more, maybe a little light sneaking up on them, but I just sort of smush my evergreen trees in nowadays, as you probably have noticed. I don't put as much, effort into making them perfect, trying to do just the right stroke or anything like that. I just smush them in, kind of hope for the best. And you know what? I get a good look. I can come back and refine this tree after it dries, because it's not totally done, but it's close. Okay, there you go. Now I've got some darker trees, which I haven't established yet. So let's go ahead and put one more. I don't necessarily want to just put it right in the middle. So how about right about here? Just a little taller than that. Right there. And just sort of block it in. I think the most critical portion here is not to get the trees too fat and too wide at the top. I was going to squirt the canvas, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to mist the palette. I don't want to damage my sky. I think it turned out good. You know what, would everybody, is that like up to everybody's taste? Probably not. It's a little different, But I like it. It's a little bit, usually when I do nighttime skies, they're a little more subtle. I've never ever done one this bold before. First time. And I kind of like that. Do something different. Hopefully you enjoy that. So I'm going to block in this area down here. To do that, I'm going to take just my bold colors. I know I'm going to put my fire pit right there. So let's go ahead and paint it, with those bold colors to get it ready. I'll lay down the orange first, and then work outward into the burnt umber rusty tones. About the only place here that's going to have a lot of color. And my tent, which I think is going to live in here somewhere. I can put this on because it's acrylic with as much texture really as I want, and there's no downside to it. I'm going to mix up a brown here with some green and red. More red though. There wasn't enough red in that. There we go. See how I'm kind of modeling it and mushing it together. I'm going to take some white here, and I'm also going to use maybe just a little bit of red and some yellow, both of our yellows. White, a little bit of red. Try to create kind of a bright, almost a warm, bright kind of peach color, very similar to what we had in the sky before. And what I'm going to do is just basically punch those highlights up a little bit in the sky. I think it's a little subdued now that it's within the context of the entire painting. A little subdued for me. I'm going to try to go. This is, of course, my custom tapered round brush, which is the right tool for the job. I'm going to come up in here and just see about feathering some of that beautiful orange tone, like a glow there at the horizon. Maybe add just a little bit more red. Of course, I've got to keep that wet, and it's going to dry out. Something probably not going to mist my canvas. If you do this, it is so important that your painting underneath is dry for obvious reasons. It'll be just a big mess. You can see using this dry brush blending technique is actually fairly useful. It's making quite a big impact. You can go over this in stages and make it brighter at the horizon if you want. I might just do that. Might just build that up right there. So you can take some time, play with this until you get it exactly the way that you want it to be. Yeah, there you go. Now I think it'd be nice to go ahead and increase the brightness on the water a little bit just to match some of that sky. And because it's acrylics, I can easily take that yellow and reflect it. I think I will Before I do that though, let me just get some of this color here reflected in the water. Nothing down here is finished, so I don't mind squirting it with water. Anyway, yeah, let's just work this color in and around this little lake. Let the ripples get slightly larger, maybe as they come down. I don't want it to look like an ocean, just ripples. Just soft little ripples. Yeah, and then looks fine now, but this is not oil. So it's gonna dry out darker. And then I'm gonna have to come back and probably do this 2 more times to get it to the level of brightness that I want it to be. At least that's my guess, about 2 times. I've got a real dark color, but it's not black. It does have black in it, but it's got all the dark colors, even green, put a little green in it. Some red, if I had to squirt out some more paints as they've been drying. And right up here, I'm going to paint in a evergreen, a fairly large evergreen. Maybe not coming from off the side, because I'm gonna have one over here coming from off the side. So maybe this one will actually be in the frame itself. You can see both sides on the canvas. I guess that'll work. Just something for variety. You could have it framed both sides, but with trees. But I'm gonna let this one be kind of more in the picture, just to keep it not symmetrical. There we go. Just tap it in rather quickly, just to get it established. No, that's pretty good. That'll be fine. A little more burnt umber. Now I'll smush it down in here. I'll refine that. I'll work on it a little more, but I do want to get one up over here as well. And this one, I've got a big trunk like this. Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, that looks nice. And that will reflect some campfire, which should be really cool. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and do some more limbs on this one's quite a bit, because this one here is kind of back on some rocks, maybe right about there or so. There'll be some rocks that it sits on. It's kind of dark and hard to tell what's going on. That's okay, it's a night scene. But this one is distinctively here on this foreground land. And so it'll be a little closer. And I might want to just put in a little more detail. But you see, the sky is just bright enough where I can get this to show using this dark color. There's just enough contrast. Not a lot, but just enough. And so something that it's important you need to watch out for is your contrast levels when you're doing a painting like this, because you can't go any darker than black. So, you know, if the sky was already black, because it's a nighttime sky, I'm going to paint it black. Well, you'd never get your tree to show up. So you have to use value. And that's what's good about a painting like this. It'll teach you a little bit more on value than a painting, you know, some other subject. Finally, time to just start working on this campfire. Never painted one before that I can think of. If you guys know of one, let me know in the comments down below what the name of that video is, because I would be curious, but I don't think so. There we go. So I'm just going to do my best to, I don't know, paint a fire. We'll see how it goes. That should be okay. I'm going to use various orange colors, and I can dry brush glaze this as many times as I want to. Got a little bit of like white there. What if I just start putting some of my cad yellow on top? I'll just work all these colors one after another, and I have essentially unlimited, no, it really is basically unlimited attempts to add to this and whatnot, because it's acrylic. It'll just keep drying and I can just keep layering. So that's really good. You know, that gives me a little more confidence to build this up exactly the way I want it to look. So it's already looking campfire-ish, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it perfect? No, but you know, that's not bad. Let me take a little bit of our red and our yellow ochre and Hansa. That's not Hansa, that's cad yellow. Going back from my acrylics and oils, that is cad yellow. And we're gonna take some white. There we go. This is just the color to start with, so we'll see how that works. Running out of dark colors. I don't necessarily need a lot, but maybe just a little, whatever that is, mud. You can see I scraped the palette off. It's one nice thing about the glass palette is you can just scrape it right off and keep painting. All right, up here, I'm going to begin to place in some of these little sections of color on on the tint. Excuse me, I am concentrating and not really worried too much about what I'm saying in all reality, because I don't want to mess this up. This is exactly my first tint. I've done exactly one. And so, whenever you do something new, it pays to concentrate because you don't have as much experience to default back onto. So it's like anything else. If you don't know what you're doing, pay attention. Do it slower. And as far as this goes, you know, I think that it's just a matter of layering up color. There is somebody in this tint, and I'm going to have a bit of a glow. I'm going to build up a glow back there, and that may take some effort. But as it is, I'm just going to work little bit by little bit and build it up. And I'll come back in, you know, a couple minutes and kind of show you an update. Kind of putting some finishing touches here on this little tint for my first tint ever. Painting a tint. I think it came out pretty good. Makes me want to go camping. I actually been wanting to go camping. Probably why I wanted to do this painting in all reality, guys. I've been wanting to go camping. The weather has been horrible. And so hopefully it'll turn here soon. Been in the 90s. It's ridiculous for September in Tennessee. I mean, really. There we go. So anyway, there, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to play around. See, there's somebody here in the tent. And so we'll have all that light kind of spilling through that open door. I'm just working in a little highlight. I don't want much, just a sparkle of highlight on some of these bushes. Come on now, find that right word. There we go. Yeah, where some obvious light from the campfires and the tent would hit. And anywhere that's not overly obvious, I think I just let it kind of be dark because we don't want to distract. We've got such a beautiful thing happening here. We don't want to distract. So I'm going to definitely let that light peter off. The nice thing about acrylics is if you do something that you really don't care for, like, oh, I did too much, I did too dark, or too light rather, would be the problem here. I did too much. It's so easy to fix it. You can glaze it. Leave intact all the hard work that you've done and come back and glaze it. Just with black or something, watered down. Just go right over it. All of every one of those little leaves and textures and details be intact, but they'll be darker. And that is one of the best things about acrylic. No, it is the best thing with acrylic, is that you can glaze. It's the number one thing. So if you're not taking advantage of glazing in acrylic, you're really missing out big time. I could stop this painting at any time, and to be fair, I probably should right now. But I'm going to put a little more paint down. I got kind of a creamy tan color. I know it looks weird on the palette, but in all reality, I think it'll look good up here because it's similar to there. I just want to, ever so slightly, just warm up the background like that. Like, boom, so little. So little. And what that does is just takes and carries a little bit of the color from that. And it also, just because there's orange, and it just kind of ties the painting together, and it links the foreground with the background just a little. These are all subtle things, but I think it does help you kind of know the process, the thought behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'll take a little bit more of that yellow, and I'm just, because I see a little more yellow in that, just boom, 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 boom. This has been a fun painting. Some paintings are just fun. This one was fun. Pink, little pink, because there's pink in that as well. Yeah, fun painting for sure. And then lastly, take a little bit of white with blue and red. So not pure, because real artists don't use pure white. And I want to be a real artist, so I don't want to use pure white. I'm just going to lay on a little bit of that back there just to sparkle it up. If it's too bright, I'll just tone it down after it dries with a glaze. Well, that wraps up this painting for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was definitely a unique subject, but I had a lot of fun. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.